Hey guys, and welcome back to Mana Down Under. Sorry about the late videos, I've been getting over the man flu. I'm good enough to close enough. So today, we are covering Arcadis, or Arcades, I'm going with Arcadis, the Strategist. Defender Tribal is here, and it is good. This deck is very strong, it's surprisingly aggro and quick to kill people, and it's cheap. Defender Tribal is a very cheap deck to go for. I guess that's just a consequence of Defenders not seeing much play. So, like all my other videos, this is deck ideas, me just giving you suggestions, but I imagine most Defender decks are going to be pretty similar, there's only so many ways you can go. So, looking at Arcadis, he's banned, he's 4 mana, he's a 3/5 flying Vigilance Dragon. Whenever a creature with Defender enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. It says enter, not cast, so you can abuse this. Each creature you control with Defender assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power and can attack those that did not have Defender. So the deck is built around defenders and them attacking and drawing. It's a very simple deck, not much more to go on. So, some of your big defending payoffs are things like Overgrown Battlement and Axebane Guardian, which are both defenders, but they care about how many defenders are in play. They can tap for mana equal to a number of defenders. Great because it ramps into more defenders. Doorkeeper, I love the homunculus. He gets the mill opponent equal number of defenders. And a mill is just another way to put a bit of pressure on your opponent. So if you're sitting there smashing them with huge big butts on these defenders, milling them too does not hurt. And you have to look at it this way. And you have to train your brain to think like this. For Overgrown Battlement, you're paying 2 mana for actually a 4/4 essentially that can tap for mana equal to the number of defenders you control. When you think of it like this, defenders get really silly really quickly. Sunscape Familiar is a 2 mana 3/3 essentially. That makes all your green and blue spells cost 1 less. It's wonderful. Here's where the big payoffs are. Wall of Shards essentially is a 2 mana 8/8 flyer. It's silly. But upkeep, your opponent gains 1 life, then 2, then 3 because of the cumulative upkeep. Wall of Denial is probably one of the bigger payoffs. An 8/8 for 3 mana with Flying and Shroud. It's going to just keep crunching your opponent down. Shield Sphere is a 0 mana 6/6. Hover Barrier is a 3 mana 6/6 flyer. You can see how absurd they are for their damage stats essentially. Fogbank and Guard Gamozu are annoying because they prevent damage dealt to them. Fogbank is the lesser one because it can't deal damage itself, its own text prevents it. But the Guard is definitely a pain to deal with. A 3 mana 3/3 flyer that would prevent all combat damage dealt to it is wonderful. Gatekeeper Vine, it's a little tutor on a stick. He gets you a gate land out or gets you a basic. Jardy Offshoot from Battle for Zen. It's a 3/3 for 1 that can keep gaining your life with landfall triggers. There's a ton of defenders which draw you cards, like Carven Caryatid, Jungle Barrier, Wall of Blossom, and its color shifted Wall of Omens. On entry, they all draw your card, and plus vote with big bodies. Like the Caryatid is a 3 mana 5/5, the Barrier is a 4 mana 6/6, the 2 little walls there are both 2 mana 4/4s. The deck, it pushes stats well beyond what it needs to. Wall of Mulch is very fitting the deck, it's a 2 mana 4/4, but has pay 1 green, sack a wall, draw a card. You can do it yourself or any other wall. Response to a board wipe, sack the board, draw a ton of cards. Something will die in combat, sack it, draw a card. If you really need something, if you're in a tight pinch, maybe sack and draw. Wall of Kelp, now the most expensive card in Homelands because of this deck. It's a 2 mana 0/3, so a 3/3. That's pay 2 mana, create a Kelp token, and it's a 0/1 blue wall. Technically it's going to be a 1/1 in this deck. But so it entering the battlefield allows Arcadis to draw your card, and you can sack it, the token to Wall of Mulch. This is wonderful. Bonded Fetch, it's a weird defender, but it has a looting mechanic on it. So sometimes this could come in handy. The Membrane, when it gets bigger, it can take a lot more combat on, but it gets to draw your card every time it blocks. Still pretty good. Now here's a bit more of the defender support. So the Stalwart Shield Bearers is a 2 mana 3/3, but other defenders get +0/+2, essentially giving 2 power to your whole team. The Perimeter Captain is a 1 mana 4/4 essentially, but whenever another defender blocks, you gain 2 life. Over the course of the game, that could save you a little bit. Colossus of Akros, is an 8 mana 10/10 with Monstrous 10, which then when it's monstrous you can attack, but it becomes a 20/20. Normally it doesn't do anything till you've invested the full 18 mana. In this deck, 8 mana, boom, here's your 10/10 indestructible attacker. Can't complain. Sylvan Caryatid is a 2 mana 0/3 with hexproof and it can tap for any color. Just helps you get that early game going on. Junk Troll I know is not a popular option, but It's any mana can pay for it. It's 4 mana for a 0/6 that can keep returning things from your graveyard to your deck. Over a long game, this could come in handy. Just go Barricade, bang, 2 mana instant flash, 4/4 in your face, and it can return another wall to your hand. So you're probably going to go with something that's in danger of dying from a threat or removal, or if you want to draw a card, return one of those drawing walls back again. Wall of Glare, it's a 2 mana 5/5 that can block as many creatures as you need, especially when it gets really fat later on. You can just chomp weenies for days. Wall of Nets is a weird, like, Oblivion Ring had a baby with a wall. Whenever at end of turn, if it blocked a creature, exile that creature essentially under the Wall of Nets, and when Wall of Nets leaves, give all the creatures back. Kinda weird, but it's very good against tokens. Now we get more into the support side of the deck. So they're not defenders, but they support what the defenders want to do. The Beastmaster says if we control the greatest toughness at end of turn, we can draw a card. Good chance we do. The Fugitive lets us have unblockable creatures by checking if a creature has power 1 or toughness 1 or less. Sidar Kondo, similar thing going on, creatures your opponent control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2 or less. All the walls, the majority of them are 0 and 1 power. The Bramble, it just simply says if a non-token will come into the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, create a token copy. It's good because we get to draw more. We're creating bigger butts, so not a bad idea this deck. Now we come to the board wipes. So Slaughter the Strong is a little bit different in the way it works. Each player chooses any number of creatures they control until they have a total power of 4 or less. Then they sacrifice all the others. So you have to keep adding up all your weenies till you hit 4 or less, and then the rest are out of here. For you, if you add all the zeros up, still 0. Retribution of the Meek just checks for creatures with power 4 or greater, then they're out of here. Wave of Reckoning, each creature hits itself, but your 0 is a lot less than your big fat bodies, so you're fine. Dusk and Dawn is a huge payoff in this deck. So the Dusk, you destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater, probably not yours. And then Dawn, return all creatures with power 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, return all your walls back to your hand that you've lost over the few turns. Play them again, draw more. The value is so real. Then we have kind of like further support in a way. So Bar the Draw and Tower Defense is similar in the way they just instant speed, blanket for the whole team, give your entire team extra toughness, aka more power in your deck. This is wonderful. Tower Defense is being the better option. Instant speed, give your entire team +5, that's silly. Spider Silk Armor is just a constant buff and plus reach, which could come in handy. Oathworn Giant is not a defender, but it gives all your creatures vigilance and 0/+2. That's pretty good, that's +2 power for your entire board essentially. Now, there's a few cards that support the deck, like the actual combo and the way the deck works. So if your commander gets locked out, your deck still needs to function. So Assault Formation is probably the better option. Each creature you control assigns combat damage through its toughness rather than its power. That's good, that's what we're doing. It has pay 1 green, target creature with defending can attack it, so it did not have defending. It says pay 3 mana, creature you control get 0 and 1 to end a turn, so it's a blanket buff. So that's great, it preserves the deck and its combo, what we're trying to do. Rolling Stone, same thing, walls can attack, great. And the same ability on the Wakestone Gargoyle. We need these in the deck because if our commander gets taken out or locked out, the deck's just going to sit there and not really do much. Now with that though, with this low power and really high toughness, we can have one-sided board control. So Marble Titan and Meekstone do a similar thing. Creatures with power 3 or 2, for both of them, cannot untap. This is great because again most of our power is 0, so it doesn't affect us. Then we've got Mishin the Mind Cage and Ensnaring Bridge. So depending on how you want to build the deck, depends on how you go with these. So Mishin just goes, alright, you've got this many cards in your hand, all creatures get neg X, neg 0 that many. Oh no, your 0 got neg something, doesn't matter, your toughness is still really high. An Ensnaring Bridge says creatures with power greater than the number of cards in your hand can't attack. 0 is fine, you'd get through, but you have to be a really aggro deck for it to work, and it costs a lot more. So I think most people are going to go with Mishin Mind Cage. It does keep the deck a lot cheaper. Then we have to protect the commander, because this commander is the big part of the deck. If it's not there, it's not doing anything. So the 2 booties are great, bit of hexproof or shroud. Darksteel Plate just indestructible. Slagworm Armor is probably better on another creature for combat, but it just gives a creature 6 power outright. It's so pushed for stats. Helm of the Host can go into anything in this deck really. If you put it onto Arcadis, you'll get a lot more draw triggers. or you put it onto another wall to get constant draw triggers, plus additional creatures for fighting in combat. It's up to you, but it's really good in this deck. A Chroma's Memorial, it's a no-brainer. It gives all your creatures flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste, and protection from the colours that you are not, black and red. It's just too much. It pushes these defenders well above what they're doing. Panharmonicon, it supports what your commander's doing. Because if something would be triggered from enter the battlefield effects, aka drawing off defender entry, you do it again. So you're drawing 2 cards. The Sword of the Pa runs is very flavorful in a way, nearly, because Arcadis is sitting back on the battlements, watching the battlefield, ordering the troops around. So if he's got the sword equipped, he's going to give his entire team +0/+2. So him sitting back and watching busts all your combat through your walls. It's lovely. There's a lot of other defenders out there which I haven't mentioned, there's quite a few. Most of the good ones are in white and blue, as you'll probably find. Here's just a few as fillers if you feel like when you're building the deck you need a few more combat. But just remember to think of them in the way of power and toughness. So like Fortified Rampart is a 2-mana 6/6 essentially. Angelic Wall is a 2-mana 4/4 flyer. Wall of Air is a 3-mana 5/5 flyer. Like, you got to think of them that way. So they're just fillers. But like all other deck ideas, it's just a deck idea. I love to leave a lot of variance in it because I want to see what other people build. But with this deck, I feel there's only so many good defenders. Everyone's going to run the better ones they can. A lot of the support pieces of the deck are pretty cheap as well. You can build the whole deck under $100 pretty easy. Get rid of that Ensnaring Bridge if you don't want it. Easy. Really cheap deck. The other bits is probably where it gets expensive, like your commander staples. So Soul Rings, Path, and Swords, Disallow, Counterspell, things like that. Tutors are great in this deck, especially the Enlightened Tutored. Getting Artifact or enchantments support the deck a lot. Suntine works really well in the deck if you've got a spare one around, because a lot of the walls are 3 mana or under. So Suntine can keep coming them back. But yeah, make sure to put all your standard commander staples in counter magic. You need good counter magic to protect your commander, because they'll go for him. Once he's gone, your deck doesn't do much. So I love this deck. I think it's really good. It's really budget friendly. It would be very strong in a creature matchup. Other decks are going to have a hard time fighting you. But yeah, let me know down below what you think of it, and have a good one, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like and sub, and have a good one.